Well, the other day, somebody wrote in about the one of the recent postings and asked if I would do everything I did in college coaching. Would I do that in high school coaching? And I wrote him a long answer, but the short answer is yes, I would. Uh, the more accomplished kids, I would try to coach fast, and the less accomplished kids, I would try to coach slow. And I learned a lot from Bob Wiley about time management. And we used to make grids. He had big grids, like 5 by 5 yard grids, and I used 2 yard grids because I realized that if I told somebody to put their feet on one side of the box and another guy to put their feet on the other side of the box, I was pretty much I've established a line of scrimmage, and then I could get them to change up and do those kinds of things. But those what we did whenever we weren't going to contact another guy, uh, those we called those individual drills, and those were basically footwork drills. We'd use the meatballs. Again, the meatballs, we got all those cool footwork patterns, but it was really the whole idea of the meatballs was to teach them to uncouple their hands from their feet, keep their dukes up, and be able to, apply their hands when they saw the opening that they were looking for from the opponent. Sometimes that was easy. In drills or hitting shields, it's real easy. But I said a long time ago, I said to Jim McNally that we play long, and what I meant was, and I shouldn't have used the word long because for a while there he was talking about fully extended. What I meant was keep the hands up. But anyway, we've gone over the fundamentals. Basically uncouple. Learn how to uncouple, learn how to condense, and make sure that your feet are engaging the ground. And for offense, it's a little harder because you're taking steps. Defense, you can root those feet in the ground, just extend your hips. The offensive player's got to come to you. Uh, when we're playing on offense, we got to go to them. So, fundamental thought process is air time. Don't have your feet in the air. Don't take big steps. Condense and what have you. But what I really wanted to talk about was this: the first thing you got to do is get them dependable. Okay. Um, I heard Bobby Bowden talking one time, and he said the best kind of ability is dependability. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's unbelievable. Because if you can get a kid to be dependable, you can give him a job to do, and he will, if it's within his power to do it, and if he's dependable, he'll do it. And you can plan on that. He's going to do it to the best of his ability, and you can build on that, okay? And that is a number one thing. But what I've found over the years is they don't play for me. They don't really play for the they don't really play for the head coach. You got to get them to play. They don't play for the school. They might play for their parents, their girlfriends, whatever. I don't know. They don't play for themselves because they're easy to please. When they do something, they're pretty pleased with it. If it feels good, they like it. You got to get them to play for each other. You got to get them to please the guy next to them, and you got to have. Everybody says leadership. You don't want leadership. You want an enforcer. You want somebody that's going to do what you say as best as they can, and he is going to criticize the other guys if they don't do it. And everyone's going to want to please that enforcer, and they're going to want to please each other. If you can get them to do that, then you can start. The next thing you got to do is convince them. I'm moving around, just using my hand phone. I'm looking. I gained some weight while I was doing this this hip rehab. But anyway, the next thing you got to convince them of is if it doesn't happen in practice, it ain't going to happen in a game. Practice is important. Practice doesn't make perfect. We're not looking for perfect. We're looking for excellent. We're looking for somebody to get across the line or over the bar. It doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect, you waste your time trying to get perfect. Okay? Don't do that. Be excellent. Okay, and that's not me saying that. Some business guy said that a long time ago. I heard John Gutekunst say it the first time I heard it. I thought, well, gosh damn, that's pretty good. But anyway, you got to get that enforcer, and usually for me, it's been the center. I think back to all the centers I had. Whenever I had a crew that was worth a damn, the center was the enforcer. I believe I just read an article about Kelce on Philadelphia Eagles, and I know Stoutland and Roy Isvan. You know, Stoutland's a rock star now. I knew him back before he was a rock star. He's been a rock star for a long time. You know, Alabama, Miami, etc. But he is a rock star now. And you know, I read this article about Kelce, and they say he's the leader. He's like the team leader. Well, you need those guys. Enforcers, though. Enforcers, not leaders. I'm the leader. I tell them what to do. I tell them what time to get there. I'm the leader. I better know what I'm doing before I open my mouth. But that guy, that enforcer, is going to listen to me, and he's going to do what I say. He's the sheepdog, okay? If he can get the sheep lined up, you got a chance. But you got to get them to understand that if it does not happen in practice, it's not going to happen in a game when the other guy is not cooperating. Okay, that's just the way it is. And whatever looks good in practice, it isn't going to look the same in the game. It's not going to. As a matter of fact, whenever you're 11 on 11, whatever your drills are, the closer you can get your guys to look like your drills, the better. I think the better coach you are. At least you're coaching something. They're doing something that you're coaching. But when the other team, if it's a scout team and they're really trying, they can mess you up. You want them to mess you up. You want them to break you. You want to see what's going to break first. Okay? I'm not big on like inside run. I remember I coached with this one guy. He's a famous guy. I won't mention his name. And we would do inside run, and he'd be in all these double eagle looks and all this other stuff. That's called bear back in the day. And if we were outside run, he'd have 2-5 techniques. He'd have like, you know, hardly anybody in the middle. They'd all be running to the perimeter. And one day I said to him, how about if we just do team? We'll kick your butt, okay? And he got pissed, but it was true. 11 on 11 team, to me, builds two things. It builds the chaos. It gets them used to being uncomfortable. They got to be uncomfortable, and they got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. They got to understand that that's the way it is. It's not me drawing little goo-goos on the chalkboard. It's a war, and the guy across from them, or the guy that they're going to go trap, or the DB or whoever, is trying to hurt them, trying to beat them, okay? They got to understand, and that's the way it is. Okay, when you can drive a lot of drills. Now, I like to go, when we do drills, I like to go me against my guys or my guys against themselves. I don't like to do drills with the defense because the defense, they're guys over there saying, we got to win this thing. And they're yelling at each other, and they're especially like one-on-one pass protection. I think that's the silliest thing. I had to do it. I had to do it a long time, sometimes 20 minutes a day. Luckily, we broke it up into 2 10-minute periods. But basically, it's two guys. The defense is over there hooting and hollering. And it's these two guys, and there's no quarterback, there's no nothing. And, you know, there's nobody next to the guy, there's nobody helping, there's nothing. And the defensive guy can do whatever he wants. And usually they bull rush, okay, where they hit some big swim move or something like that. But the problem is, so let's say they got 15 guys and you got 15 guys. That's 30 guys. There's 28 guys standing around watching while two guys make fools out of themselves. I don't like it. I would much prefer a team pass. And I know the quarterback coaches all want 7-on-7, but I laugh because, you know, I say, well, is that quarterback going to be able to pat that ball that many times when we're running that low dragger and that dig over top of it? And how about if we put up some like doors, some big like 8 foot tall doors, like 5 of them in front of the quarterback, and make them do 7-on-7 with that, and then have a manager stand there with a baseball bat and counting to 3, and at the count of 3, he hits the quarterback right in the head with the baseball bat. I think that would be more realistic. Okay, so I don't like that stuff. Inside run. Everybody wants to run inside run, so they bring their front over and they just want to bring the safeties for fits, and the safeties aren't going to do anything, and they do. It's just the way it is. But in team, and the best coaches I've worked with were 2-minute experts. Okay, because 2-minute. And going against your defense, okay? Everybody runs the same kind of stuff in 2 minutes. They might have some exotic blitz or something like that. But 2-minute drill it tests the coaches, it tests the operation. The operation is what happens in between plays, okay? Did you get the right substitute in? What's the down and distance? Did we get a first down? Do we want to substitute? Gee whiz, it's 3rd and 1, and we're in 10 personnel. What are we going to do? What are we going to call? What are we going to change the crew? We just burned 30 seconds. We lost the game. And then always, and I used to argue. I argued with a lot of coaches, but don't try to get a touchdown. Try to get a field goal. So now that field goal kicker's over there, and he is worried because he's got to make this field goal. Okay, and it doesn't have to be live, but it doesn't hurt to have it be live. I'd much rather have him kicking that situation live than standing there and taking 15 or 20 shots while the defense is coming at you with some kind of block, and nobody's really worried about the outcome. I want it to be a 2-minute drill with the end of the drive being a field goal. Okay, and you could script the situations and all that stuff, but the best coaches I've been around, they were 2-minute experts. I worked for one guy. He'd do 2-minute drill 4 times a week, and guess what? In the games, we'd score. We might score a field goal, but we'd score, and we beat people in the last 2 minutes of the half and the last 2 minutes of the game. I remember we were at this one place. We were at Ball State, and we were playing Buffalo, and I can't think of the kid's name right now, but he's still in the NFL. And we were in the 2-minute drill. We had to kick a field goal to win, and I just kept saying to the guys every time the clock stopped or somebody called timeout, I'd say, you gotta slow this dude down. I forget who he was, and they were just trying, but the quarterback was used to it. He was used to the thing. The coaches were used to it. Okay. Well, anyway, you get the picture. Okay. I told him, last thing I told him was, if you get this thing done, you're going to talk about it for the rest of your life. And I don't know if they are, but I do. Anyway, so you got to get them, to me, you got to get them used to being uncomfortable. Oh, it's too hot? I don't care. It's too cold? I don't care. Oh, my girlfriend broke up with me? I don't care. I am not going to let anything I feel affect what I'm doing. Okay? And we define that as toughness. Toughness is the ability to perform no matter how you feel. Now, I wish somebody said that to me a long time ago when I was a player, but, I figured that out. I was about 40 years old. But that's the thing that we talk about more than anything else is toughness. Okay? Being able to perform no matter how you feel. Okay? And I can call guys up that played for me 20 years ago, and I'll say, hey, give me the definition of toughness. And they'll go, it's the ability to perform no matter how you feel, coach, or, something along those lines, but it would come out like that. And to me, toughness and dependability, along with ability, okay? And, I'm not big on playing the most able guy. I'm big on playing the guy that's the most productive, the guy that gets it done. And what Knute Rockne said, I don't play my 11 best, I play my best 11. The guys that fit in and understand that they can't win the game by themselves. They can lose it by themselves, but they can't win it by themselves. They've got to have help. And the offensive line, you cannot succeed by yourself. And that goes back to playing for each other. Okay? playing for each other. And, people will send me this quote every once in a while, and I'll say, the offensive lineman is the only person in all of sport in any position where the sole purpose of that position player is to protect another player. But it's true. Protect another player is your job. Now, we got to move people, we got to do this, we got to do that. But basically, at the end of the day, we can't let the ball carrier or the quarterback get hit. We can't let the receiver be held up and get porcupine down, 5 yards down the field when we can go sprint down there and knock somebody off of the pile. And these are the things that make them be on time and pay attention. Okay? And if they'll do that, whatever drills, you want to hit the sled, whatever. I don't like, I laugh when I see 15 guys, the Crowther sled, the two-man sled, it's really designed to be used by one man. And I know when Coach Anderson was at Penn State, they had like 8 of them or something like that. But I laugh at sleds. I think they're funny. Sleds don't hit back. Guy says, "Yo, you like to lift weights?" I go, "Yeah." Well, those weights don't hit back. That's what. Well, sleds don't hit back either. Okay, they resist, but they stand there like dopes. Okay, and one of these days I'll get into how to handle shields. I'm a medicine ball guy, but we don't use the medicine balls during practice. We use them in pre-practice, and we throw them on the side. It's like 3 minutes we use. Okay, so I don't spend a lot of time hitting things. I want to hit each other, even if it's not live. It doesn't have to be live. When my guy is going against my guy, I control both of them, and I tell the guy who's playing defense, what to do, and I get after him if he's not giving it hard enough. And we don't want a patty cake. We want to, we want to go for it. And I got away from one-on-one. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. One-on-one I would do, but it wouldn't be one-on-one. It'd be like 3-on-3, 3 separate pairs of guys. When I was in junior college, that's all we could do. Or, if when I was at places where we had a lot of depth, I'd have the whole unit divided up, and every guy, there was half the unit was on offense and half the unit was on defense, and every guy went on my cadence. Even the defense, even though they knew what the cadence was, every guy went on my cadence and did whatever the drill was. So that was our one-on-one. It was like 8-on-8 or something like that. Okay, but they were all individual blocks, all whatever we were working on individually, that's what we would do. Okay, and then I stopped doing combo 2-on-2s. Actually, I really totally stopped. I didn't even do it, I don't think, in junior college. I believe in 5-on-6, or you have the tight end, 6-on-7. I wanted to have all those guys, and my guys, not the defense, my guys, and I'd have them blitzing or doing whatever I was working on, but I wanted to control the pace of that thing, and I wanted everyone to work with each other, okay? Because if the number one thing in football right now is the double team, and there's a bunch of ways to do it. I put my way on, and I watch different guys, and I have a lot of strong feelings about it. But the double team, you got to get movement. You can't have 2 guys hit one and not get movement. And you got to get movement. I don't want to hear about stalemates. We know how to do this, and we're going to practice it the way we practice it. And not only do you have to get movement, but eventually we have to separate, because that guy one of those guys has got to pick up another defender. And we kind of got away from 2-on-2. We really went to areas or spots. And to me, spot blocking is the way I would do, especially inside zone, A-gap zone, spot blocking. Now, C-gap zone is a little bit more like guys, but just remember, the back's going to bring the defenders to your guys, okay? So we don't separate. We truly don't have 2 guys hit one guy and totally commit to him. We have 1.5 guys hit one guy. Okay, it's always one guy's helping the other, and it isn't always the post blocker who's being helped. Sometimes the post blocker is the helper, and you can look at this in other videos. But anyway, this thing's getting long, and I don't want to take any more time. But hopefully, this give you an idea of what we're talking about. But remember, dependable, toughness, and play for each other, and find your enforcer, okay? And you'll be okay. All right. See ya.